Are we live? Am I live? I think I am. I think we're ready. I think we're going. Let's hope this works. Let's hope this works. YouTube has been giving me problems today, but let's hope it works. Hey, I'm Bad Guru, aka Peter Hartman, aka Citizen of the Yangdom, aka super happy to be with you here tonight. Ooh, my goodness! What a day it's been. How long has it been since I've talked to you? You know, a couple of days. A lot has happened. A lot has happened. Are you feeling excited, Yang Gang? Are you feeling good? Are you feeling motivated? You feel looking forward to a lot of what's coming up. On the show, I want to talk about phone banking, UBI versus suicide debate strategy, and who is John Yang. Let's get into it. All right. Let's see here. Perfect. Everything looks like we're in order. I think we can go. All right. Thanks so much for watching the show. Really appreciate it. I'm Bad Guru. I'm here doing videos about the Yang Gang and about Andrew Yang on a regular basis. So subscribe, like, comment, subscribe. This is a place. This is a place for you. All right. Let's talk about phone banking. Oh. Actually, no. Let's talk about who is John Yang first, okay? Since this is probably already old news by now, but I want to tell you who is John Yang. I'm loving this thing, who is John Yang. I love that they made a mistake on MSNBC, you know, because every mistake they make now generates attention. Now it generates traffic, so it's pretty good. You know, they might be using Andrew Yang as clickbait or something, and maybe MSNBC, maybe Ari Melber wanted to get a little bit more attention to his show. I think it was pretty effective. I don't know the motivations, but I know it's pretty cool, and it's got to be because of the Yang Gang who trended. Who is John Yang? You guys are really awesome. Loved the memes that I saw on Twitter. Loved everything that was there. I think I contributed. Pretty sure I contributed a meme or two. You can check that out on Twitter. On my Twitter, you can find the link right up here. But just re-elect Andrew Yang 2024. You know what? Maybe I should explain that 2024 business. I'll wait for a second. I'll do it later. I want to talk about who is John Yang, trending number one. I even got an apology from Ari Melber, which is pretty cool, you know. It's good. He's got a following. Tweeting that out is pretty cool. And an apology shows that he's I was about to say he's a stand-up guy, but who knows? You know, who knows? It wasn't on purpose. How could they get his name wrong? I don't understand. How could they get his name wrong? It almost seems like it had to be done on purpose, no? It's so hard to believe that everybody knows, the media knows about Andrew Yang. Ari Melber has interviewed Andrew Yang, so his staff will know Andrew Yang. How do you make a mistake like that? There are checkers. There are people who are proofreading things. It's not just some guy who's like typing it up and then it appears on the screen. I mean, that happens, but I don't think that was the case. I kind of feel like it was on purpose. But if it's on purpose, that's good. If it's on purpose, they're not doing it because they think it'll go unnoticed. Right? They're not doing it because they think it's going to go unnoticed. If it's on purpose, then they know it's going to be noticed. And so they recognize the power of the Yang Gang. They recognize how much attention they're going to get, and they're using it to their advantage. That's good. That's very good. I like it. I hope they did it on purpose. I'll tell you that. I hope they did it on purpose. By accident, it's like, is Andrew Yang that much of an afterthought? On purpose, we're heading in the right direction. And then, I don't know. I don't know if it's because of that, but he ends up on mention on the Daily Show, right, with Trevor Noah. Yeah, he showed the clip of him crowd surfing, and that absolutely, of course, had a lot to do with it. But also, this who is John Yang must have gotten people, aware of what's going on and meaning to talk about him. So I'm glad. A lot of media attention this week, whether it was, because of mistakes that were made. I'm perfectly fine with that. Who is John Yang? You know, but I got to watch out because I've been looking at this for so long and watching so many videos about it and reading about it that I accidentally say John Yang now instead of Andrew Yang. You know, it's kind of like seeping in. Anywho, great job, Yang Gang, at getting that hashtag going. You guys are phenomenal with that Twitter game. You know, I'm new to Twitter. I can't believe how much you guys run that system. So it's pretty good. Congratulations. Good on you. Just giving you some praise there because you guys just really good job. All right, I want to talk about phone banking Phone banking. So the campaign, Andrew Yang's campaign says, hey, the best thing you can do for them is to phone bank. The best thing you can do is phone bank, which I was kind of surprised at. I never really thought about phone banking. It's not really something that I pay attention to. I like the political races, but I don't really think, I never really paid much attention to that aspect of it. Phone banking, huh? Best thing you could do is phone banking. Who would have thought? Well, I guess a lot of people would have thought. What I found interesting about this phone banking thing is actually, my goodness, I said her name earlier today, and now for some reason it's just spacing on me. Not spacing, but how do you pronounce it? Paget? Pretty sure it's Paget. Paget Kagi? Paget, you're awesome. You're fantastic. Live phone banking on YouTube? Woo-wee! Live phone banking. I don't know if that's special or not. I don't know if people do that on a regular basis, but when I saw that, I was like, wow, severely impressed. Severely impressed with Paget's phone banking on live. I don't know if it's because you're an actress or a performer or whatever, but you didn't look nervous to me. I didn't see you blush. I didn't see you sweat. I saw you handle the situation pretty good. I watched a lot of it, almost all of it, I think. And very impressed by that. You really, honestly, you've inspired me, You and people like you, but especially you in this case here, you've inspired me. I want to do phone banking. I want to check it out. I want to give it a try. If I'm allowed to do it from Canada. People have replied to my comments saying, yeah, I can do it from Canada. I'd like to give it a try. I'm riddled with social anxiety, okay? Crippling social anxiety. I know you wouldn't know it to look at me, but whew, plus I sweat like crazy. I have this medical condition called hyperhidrosis. It's severe, I just drip with sweat just after a few moments. But it might be fun. Maybe I'll live stream that too. It might be fun to see that, see some guy sweating on the phone for Andrew Yang. I'm willing to do that. Anyway, Paget, just really, really excellent. I don't know if to you that was a big deal or not, but from someone who watches, who pays attention to what's going on in the world on YouTube and all that stuff, I thought that was very impressive. I actually think it'd be great if Andrew Yang did live streams the way Paget does. Like, why isn't he online every night? He probably can't do it every night, but he should be on live streaming and asking questions, not just on Instagram or whatever, but like just a full-on live stream where people can ask questions. The content that would be produced from that would be very cool. I don't know. Maybe it's risky because who knows what all kinds of questions you're going to get, and there are all kinds of trolls online, people causing trouble. But I would like it if Andrew Yang streamed. Maybe he does it. If he does it, let me know. Maybe I just haven't seen it. That live stuff, Paget, really fantastic. I love that you and Nerds for Yang have started to do live stuff. What my favorite show to watch was Problem Solver Politics because they live stream. I like that aspect of it. I don't mind that it's unpolished. I don't mind about the ums and ahs and the glitches and all that stuff. I like it. It's live. It's like you're right there. So I'm glad that everybody else is doing that now. I love live. I love live a lot better. I love live because I'm a video editor, and editing video, it's long. Phone banking. If you want to give it a try, you can watch. Paget has some videos explaining how to do it. I think she did a phenomenal job. Go and check that out. I watched all of the videos. I think she has 3 on the subject so far. So definitely go and check that out. Phone banking. All right. Something came up in the live stream that Paget was doing. She mentioned, and I've heard it mentioned before, getting non-voters to vote for Andrew Yang, right? Reaching out to those citizens who don't vote, who are not engaged in the political process, to get them over. That should be the focus. I don't know. Not 100% sold on that. Certainly if you can get people who don't vote to vote, that's fantastic. Of course you should do that, right? Expand that base. Right? If they don't vote and they're not engaged in the process, then they don't have a dog in the fight. So you're coming in saying, hey, pick this dog, no dog versus a dog. That's an easier pitch than my dog versus your dog. So there's certainly value in getting people who don't vote. But honestly, voting itself is a complicated process, and you've got to register, and especially in the early primary states, is a lot of caucuses. So to do that whole thing, it's a big engagement. If you're not a voter already, if you're not engaged in the process, if you don't have a vested interest, if you're not interested in that already, I think it's kind of hard to jump through all those hoops to get non-voters to come and vote. Seems like a difficult thing. I mean, you let me know what you think. I mean, I don't know. It seems like a kind of a difficult thing to get people who don't vote to get engaged in the political process. On the other hand, people who are voters, to convert them, it might be a harder road at the beginning. You know, they already got a dog in the fight, but they're engaged in the process. They know what to do. They've done it before. Once you get past that initial hurdle, then I think it'll be cool. And with Andrew Yang, he has such a good argument, such a good pitch, that if people actually understand this pitch, I think it'll be easier to convert people who already vote. Of course, you're going to want to do both those things. I mean, of course, you want to do both those things, but people who already vote. Now, here's the thing. This is about young people voting. As far as I understand, young people, notoriously unreliable. A lot of excitement and enthusiasm doesn't necessarily translate to the polls. It's why a lot of politicians don't necessarily go out of their way to court young people, because they're not a reliable voting bloc. Now, there's something to be said about the millennials now, right? Millennials, young, old, I'm not exactly sure, but Paget just posted a video, so I got distracted there for a second. I don't know if you heard that, but I want to go see that video. I want to see what it is. Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, young people, millennials these days. Look, I'm at the cusp of a millennial, you know, born in '84. Everybody younger than me, you know, they're more engaged than ever before, you know, especially with this whole Trump thing. They are more engaged than ever before. So it could be that this time around, young people really will be the key, you know. I hope so, because I think young people would be definitely behind Andrew Yang. I think he's got a lot of young supporters. Old people, they're the ones who vote. They're the ones who vote. They vote mainly because they, as far as I understand, they want to make sure their Social Security is safe. So by golly, they rely on it. It's their lifeline for a lot of people, so they vote for that. And so yeah, old people, they vote. Plus, they have the time. They have the time, the inclination. Old people vote. So there's that. Here's the thing. When it comes to voters who are actually in the system, who are actually already voting, like not non-voters but voters, they're frustrated, right? Just like you. You're engaged in this political process, right? Let's say you're like Paget. Let's say you're somebody who hasn't been involved in the process in the past, and this is your first foray, you know, or you've left it a long time ago. You can see how frustrating it is, right? You can see how rigged the system is, how corrupt it is. You can see the pressures and the influences that are made on the candidates. You can see how unfair the process can be sometimes. You get frustrated, right? Well, that frustration is motivation. That frustration is motivation. So voters have that frustration already. They've been frustrated over and over and over and over. That's why they voted for Trump. Why a lot of people voted for Trump. Terribly frustrated with the system. Want something new, shake it all up. So the non-voters, you know, they might not be happy that Trump is in office, but some of them. But do they have frustration? No, they don't think about it. Let's let somebody else deal with it. But the voters, people who are already voting, they're frustrated. So that means they're motivated, just like you, right? They're frustrated. You give them a message of hope and optimism, and I think they'll gravitate towards that. Voter frustration. I think it's going to be. I think that's the way we should go. I am terribly frustrated with this political process. I think it's bananas the way it goes on. I mean, it's insane, and I've been following this for a while now. It's absolutely nuts what's going on. It's nuts. Is anybody saying what's happening right now? Really, really nuts. The political process. But Andrew Yang makes me feel calmer, makes me feel happier, makes me feel hope, makes me feel optimism. Andrew Yang is an antidote for apathy. It's an antidote for frustration. Maybe not apathy, but definitely frustration. My 2 cents. All right. Let's see here. There's one thing I want to mention here before we get to the suicide topic, and that is the Alaska example. Now, I could be wrong, and maybe I'm not really getting this, but the Alaska example is a little strange to me because Andrew Yang explains 1K a month, right? He explains UBI. And then he refers to Alaska. He says, hey, one state has had a type of UBI for 40 years now. That's Alaska. All right. How much do they get? They get $1,000. All right. But wait, they get it every year. They get $1,000 a year. As far as I understand, $1,000 to $2,000 a year. Well, that's not the same. The first time I heard that, I remember thinking, is he kind of tricking people? Is he fudging the numbers here? He's trying to slip. He's trying to slip one, put one past us. $1,000 a month is radically different than $1,000 a year, right? Now, I think it's $1,000 for every man, woman, and child. So let's say if 4 of you in the household, you're getting $4,000 a year. All right, that's something. It's definitely something. But it ain't $12,000 a year, right? So I don't know. The Alaska example, maybe somebody can explain it to me. I hope I can hear him explain it a little bit more, or at least not talk about it much, because I think it sounds like it doesn't, I don't know. It doesn't seem right to me. It doesn't seem very good. Can somebody explain the Alaska example to me? Is that a good example? Anywho, just my 2 cents on that. Just what I'm thinking about it. It just seems a little bit confusing. The Alaska example. I'm thinking about it right now. I'm thinking, am I missing something? Anywho, let's leave it there. World Suicide Prevention Day. Holy smokes. I woke up this morning. I didn't know there was something special about today. Turns out today was really special. It's World Suicide Prevention Day. And speaking as somebody who's gone through suicidal periods in his life, deep, deep, dark depressions, I have a soft spot in my heart for people who are suicidal. Whew, it's tough. You think to yourself, when I was suicidal, and even sometimes today, I look around and I think, how are other people living in this world? It sucks. Look, I know, according to Steven Pinker, the world is better than it's ever been, okay? The stats are really great. The numbers are really great. We're doing far better than we ever have in the history of humankind. I get that. But it kind of still seems kind of messed up. It's like a gilded cage. It's like your bars are made out of gold, but you're still stuck in a cage, right? There's something funky going on, and I don't like it. I can barely stand it. If I wasn't working every day in order to change it, I don't know that I could be alive. It seems crazy. That's why I love UBI. UBI is a wonderful tool, a wonderful policy for helping prevent suicide. If you check out, what was the site I was on? Verywellmind.com, right? They have some examples of why people commit suicide, the top reasons why people commit suicide. I'm not going to tell you in order here, but there are some reasons people commit suicide that definitely UBI would help. Look, if you're feeling worthless, like I used to, if you feel worthless, then I get it. You want out. But if you're getting UBI, suddenly you're not feeling so worthless anymore. Suddenly you're able to do something. Even if you're like me, I used to sleep on someone's couch because I had nowhere to live and no money to eat. Well, suddenly me sleeping on their couch, I can give this person some money now. Suddenly I've become pretty useful. No longer feeling so worthless. Now, the worth that we have as human beings isn't just the money that we can provide, right? That's not the only thing that makes us worthwhile, that makes us valuable. But my God, when I was down in the dumps, if you told me I was going to get $1,000 US, everything for you is in US dollars. Here in Canada, $1,000 US. It's like, what? You're getting how much? $1,000 US. I don't think I'd feel so bad. Plus, I'd have more options. I'd be able to engage with the life more and do more things. So that feeling of worthlessness goes away. At least it gets greatly diminished for a lot of people. Then there's things like childhood and household stress, a financial stress. In childhood, that can be difficult. That can lead to an unhealthy family. That could lead to unhealthy living. It could lead to bad upbringing for a child and for the household. You have mother and father, whoever, the parents who are arguing, the parents who are not getting along. Financial reasons is a reason why a lot of people don't get along. A lot of people fight. That stress is really unbearable, and $1,000 a month would help that, right? I'm not telling you anything you don't know. And then substance abuse, right? I know some people do substance abuse because they have pain and they take prescription meds, and then they move on to other things. They take drugs, they take prescriptions, all illegally, whatever. They do that stuff because they're in pain, they're hurting. They start in a place where they're trying to get better, and then they get worse because of the drugs. But there's a lot of people substance abuse because life is purposeless and pointless, and they have no prospects, or they feel like they don't. And $1,000 a month, that gives you some prospects. That gives you some way forward, right? I don't know how much Andrew Yang talked today about UBI in relation to suicide. I'm pretty sure he had I'm positive he had a tweet about it. That's how I learned about World Suicide Prevention Day, because of Andrew Yang. Thank you, Andrew Yang. But yeah, relating UBI to these things, I think is very important. So substance abuse, lack of purpose. You have $1,000 a month. You can engage with some purpose. You can do some things. You can start a business. You can help somebody. Then there's also the fear of loss, right? According to verywellmind.com, the fear of loss is also a big factor in suicide, right? You're afraid of losing something. You're afraid of losing your job, right? That's tough. Well, with $1,000 a month, you're not as afraid of losing your job, because you might be able to still make rent depending on where you live. You'll still be able to eat, right? You'll still have some economic value. And then fear of loss. People are afraid of losing relationships, and a lot of relationships, they end because of financial reasons, right? Come on. Look, I know what it's like to be a guy or a person, let's say a guy, because I think it matters for guys, and not to have money. You're dating, you're trying to meet people, you're trying to be in a relationship, and it's like your girlfriend wants to do something, but you can't because you don't have any money. It's a stressful situation. I've ended relationships because I had no money. It's terribly stressful. And then when those relationships end, you're like down in a funk, and we're so social creatures that we want that love, and when we don't have it anymore, when that person's not around anymore, when we feel shame and alone, that can lead you to a dark place. UBI kind of shines some light in that darkness, I think. Hopelessness. Another reason people kill themselves. Hopelessness. Hope. Do I have to explain this one? Do I really have to explain this one? Does everybody here understand? Hope. You got dollars in your pocket and the ability to do something, to move forward. You got some hope. You can take a class, get some hope. You can start a business, get some hope. Come on. You know what I'm talking about, hopelessness. And then belief. The belief that your life is a burden to others. I remember the way that felt. You feel worthless. You feel like your life is a burden to others. It's one thing to feel worthless. Okay? It's one thing to feel like you have no value. It's quite another to feel like you are a burden to others, a burden to those people you care about. When I had no money and all that stuff, that was one thing. When I was just relying on my family, relying on friends in order to help me out, and feeling like I was a burden to them, man, I really wanted to get out of here, man. I really wanted to go. You get $1,000 a month, suddenly you're not a burden to nobody. Not really. Not unless you cost them more than $1,000 a month. Feeling like you're a burden is a nightmare. It's this heavy pressure on your psyche that destroys you. We want to contribute. We want to participate on equal footing. We want to do right by those people around us. And, maybe some of you are in your mother's basement. I know what that's like. sitting in your mother's basement, dejected, despondent. You're like, I want to make something of my life, but I need a leg up. Feeling like you're a burden, that'll get you off of this planet. That's for sure. And 1K a month, I think you won't feel like a burden anymore. I really would like that. Please, UBI, please. Could we please get UBI? And lastly, social isolation. You know what I'm talking about, right? You got no money, you got no prospects, you got nothing. You ain't gonna be hanging out with your friends. You ain't gonna wanna go out there in public. Look, maybe it's just me. I crippling social anxiety that I've had to deal with for 20 years now. And one of the reasons that I just stayed a hermit and not be around people, and what got me anxious, that I didn't have money. I'd go out to like a 5 à 7. I'd go out to a happy hour. It's called 5 à 7, 5 to 7 here in Quebec. I'd go out to a 5 à 7, go out to a happy hour, and I'd be sitting down there. I have to ask somebody for money to buy a drink, or maybe I only have enough money to drink one drink, and everybody is drinking. They're having a fun time, and me, I'm sipping on that warm beer for 2 hours. Look, you don't need to drink beer and you don't have to go to 5 à 7, but feeling isolated, not having any money, that isolates you. And that doesn't make good people. That doesn't make good human beings. That doesn't make people who are like not against the other, not against immigrants, not angry at the world. Isolation, we need to be socialized, and we need to have social experiences. And when you don't have money, it's very easy to retreat back within yourself, to stay by yourself. I know what I'm talking about. I used to live in a basement apartment, had no money for rent. The only food I could eat, only food I had was the leftover peanut butter jar that was in my house. I ate that just out of the jar, no crackers, nothing. You think I felt like having people over? You think I felt like going and doing anything? I was woozy, man. I was very woozy. I'd get up, I'd stand up, and I'd just get all dizzy. Plus, I was just skin and bones. So many consequences to not having money. So many consequences to not having money. It's crazy. UBI is like, I was having a conversation in one of the videos here, and one of the videos I made, this gentleman, I'm assuming he's a gentleman, very nice guy. He let me know in this conversation, hey, maybe you're a little bit overly optimistic about how UBI can solve things, and maybe I am, but when I think about these things, to me, UBI will help these things. If I remember the situations that I was in relative to suicide, and I know that a $1,000 a month would have drastically helped me. I wouldn't have felt suicidal. I wouldn't have. Maybe that's just me. World Suicide Prevention Day. I think one of the best things we can do to help people out of that funk, out of that darkness, into the light, is by giving them a little relief. Universal basic income. The freedom dividend. I think it's a great idea. All right. Did you guys see the hard question that Andrew got at the AAPI? There was a lady asked him, a young lady asked him, she said she was raped. I think she said twice. Anyway, she said she was raped, and she had this long question, and it was very well said, and it was poignant, and it was sharp. And Andrew Yang really impressed me. He did well. He wasn't flustered by it. I would have been flustered by it. He wasn't flustered by it. Didn't just chirp on about the basics. He empathized with her. He recognized what the problem was. And what I loved is that he related UBI to it. He related UBI to the severe problem. He said a lot of things, but one of the things he said is that strong men treat women well. Weak men do not. And when he started to say that, I was like, that sounds familiar. My ears perked up. I was like, this is interesting. It wasn't just about bashing the people who are doing wrong, bashing these men. It was recognizing their flaw, that they're weak. That they're weak. And then he went on to say, to ask himself, how do we make boys and men stronger? Wow, I love that. That's not demonizing. That's not taking sides. That's recognizing that you want to help the victims, you want to help women, and you want to help men. I love hearing that. I love hearing politicians who are not just like bashing men. Strong men treat women well. Weak men do not. How do you make boys and men stronger? How do you make them better able to handle rejection? How do you deal with the struggle, the crisis of masculinity? Wow, when I heard that, I gotta tell you, I'm gonna say something, and I probably shouldn't say it at all, but it's what I think, and I don't think anybody else is gonna say it, so I'm gonna say it, and I hope it doesn't hurt Andrew Yang, because I don't mean it to be that way, but he sounded a lot like Jordan Peterson, right? Trying to help young men become stronger, do well, and do right by women. It's not just about putting them down and shaming them. It's recognizing that the environment in which they're growing up in isn't conducive towards healthy masculinity, towards healthy males. And it's they're behaving in ways that are, I was going to say counterproductive, that are downright destructive. And UBI would help with that. It helps you raise boys to become men who do right in the world, who treat other people the way they're supposed to. He got a hard question there, and I was very proud of him for what he said. Very happy to hear that guy's on both sides. He's trying to help all people. It's not about bashing or demonizing. It's about helping. Thank you, Andrew Yang. There is a crisis of masculinity. Boys, there are a lot of men growing up without great examples. And the culture that we live in now is kind of devoid of these role models sometimes. And it's not producing good people, good men. And it sounded a lot like Jordan Peterson. Jordan Peterson talks about that. He talks about helping. Jordan Peterson wants to help everyone, but he's also talking about men. And Jordan Peterson gets kind of demonized for that. He kind of gets bashed for that. But I think it's true. And to hear Andrew Yang say it, thank you. 1K a month allows us to address this crisis. And maybe it doesn't solve it all at once, but it relieves a lot of the anxiety, a lot of the stress that is causing people to behave in terrible ways. Way to go with that hard question, Andrew Yang. Way to go. I don't know. Maybe I just didn't notice it. I didn't see a lot of people talking about it. I was actually surprised that it wasn't just like top news. I guess other things were going on, but wow. The way that young lady asked that question, you got to watch the video. I tweeted it out on my Twitter, in my Twitter account. I think the Summation Kid posted a video online. When I heard the question, it was so long, and I thought it was so long that they didn't even have time for other questioners in the audience. They didn't have time for anybody else. They just, after her, they just went back onto the stage. He was in the audience. He went down into the audience. He was standing right next to the young lady as she asked this question, and wow. She was fiery. And he did very well. Empathy, recognizing where she was coming from, and then recognizing the other side, providing a solution that helps both parties. That's my kind of guy. All right. Last but not least, I want to talk about the debate in 2 days. Ooh-wee! Ooh-wee! I cannot wait. Oh, man, it just feels like forever since the last one. I mean, it feels like yesterday, but it also feels like forever. It's like waiting for The Walking Dead to come back on the air. You're like, when is The Walking Dead coming back? When is Game of Thrones coming back? Oh man, waiting for Andrew Yang. I want to see him on the debate stage. It's fun. It's all fun to see that guy in interviews and doing the thing and crowd surfing and doing all the things he's doing. Absolutely wonderful. But let's not kid ourselves. The real show is at the debates. And how will Andrew Yang perform? Well, if it's anything like the last time, he's going to do super well. And considering how this guy learns and how well he grows, this guy might do even better. Now, it's hard. It's risky business. How things are going to go. It's not always exactly the same. But tell me you are excited about this debate. Tell me you are excited and as enthused as I am about this debate. I'm busting, Jerry. I'm busting. I don't know what he's going to do. I've heard people say, oh, he should, I don't know, attack and call out and be aggressive. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't think attacking is the way to go. Unless you're going to attack the best that anybody has attacked or better than anybody else can attack, then what's the point? Tulsi Gabbard going after Kamala, bam, 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 sniper shot, right on the dome, man. Took her out. So maybe Andrew Yang could do that, but I don't know. He doesn't have practice. I mean, Tulsi's just run for office. She's just a politician. She has experience. And if you look at that video, even Tulsi was kind of sweating. I don't know if it was hot in there or whatever, but she was glistening. Let's say that. I didn't know if it was nerves. Didn't look like nerves. Didn't look like flop sweat, but she was certainly heated. Andrew Yang, I don't know how he can handle attacks. I mean, he can do some barbs and some jabs, but he's not an attacker. He's such a nice guy. I hope he doesn't try to do something that's unnatural to him. He's got to double down on what's natural to him. Nice guy. Recognize the value of both sides. Explains UBI. Look, this is what I need. This is what I want from Andrew Yang on the debate. 1, explain UBI. And 2, more importantly, explain specifically and clearly how to pay for it. Andrew Yang's been running for president since 2017? Guy, 17, 18, something like that, 2 years, something like that. Still, people are asking, how do you pay for it? How do you pay for it? But how can you really pay for it? Explain that stuff, man. I watch Nerds for Yang, and even Tom there, he has some questions about how he's going to pay for this, Because a huge chunk of how you're going to pay for this is perceived growth. And that's a little fishy, Oh, we'll pay for it from the growth that we're going to get. Okay. Maybe, probably, but... Please explain how UBI will be paid for. It doesn't have to be airtight, but explain it to people so they're like, you know what? Maybe that can work. That's what you need. Explain UBI. Explain how you pay for it. It's not been cleared. It's not clear. I look at it. I watch it. I look at it every time. I watch all the videos that he talks about it. I look at the math. But it's not clear to people. When he's in debate, I mean, he doesn't have time in debates to do this. I know that. And he doesn't have to necessarily do it at the debates. But my goodness, please explain how to pay for it. That is the thing. When you explain UBI, people don't go, oh, I'd hate UBI. Hey, UBI sucks. I would hate getting $1,000 a month. That's not what people say. They say, how are you going to pay for it? How are you going to pay for it? Now, every time I hear this question posed to other candidates, they say this nonsense garbage that I absolutely hate. Well, when we wanted to go to war, we found all the money we needed to do that. So why are they asking? Why are they bothering to ask where we're going to get the money for it? You found the money for that. We can find. That's not an answer. They didn't find the money for war. It's debt. It's a burden on you every single day, Americans. They didn't find a way to pay for it. They ruined your future and the future of your children. Oh, so we're just going to do the same thing. No. One of the reasons I like Andrew Yang and support UBI is because he says we're going to do this in a way that's not going to add to the debt. That's not going to burden future generations. That's what I want. That's what I hope you want. Look, I want it too, okay? I'm not American, but I want it for America. Whatever happens there happens in the rest of the world, man. a shining beacon on the top of the hill, an example for the world, a lighthouse pointing the way. That's what America is to me. And I want you guys to get UBI. Part of that is because I don't think it's going to burden the debt. I don't think it's going to harm the future. I think it's going to help incredibly. Just explain how to pay for it, because I don't even know how to pay for it. I know some of the things. He says how he's going to pay for it, but I don't know. It doesn't really, the math. You're the math guy, got the math hat, explain it, man. Make it so that anybody can explain where this money is going to come from. And not just the first level that you explain, just the first level. We can all explain the first level of what you explain, how that gets divvied out, right? The VAT tax, etc. But a deeper level, the questions that people have, no, but that won't work. Oh, no, this won't work. Explain that. And I know it's going to be hard in the debates to do that. Maybe what I'm saying should be explained just in general in interviews and stuff like that. But find some way of getting that out on the stage. Find some way of getting out on the stage that you recognize you have to be able to pay for it. Or it's just a good idea. It's just an idea. You have to be able to pay for it. So communicate to people that you get that. And that whether or not they understand it or not, you know how to get it paid for. Communicate that. You're so confident. You're so good. Convince people. You're a good salesman. Convince them that you can pay for this. Because I think if you can do those two things, explain UBI and pay for it, a tax, who needs any of that nonsense? Ridiculous behaviors, attention-grabbing stunts, that's not what you need. What's the point of getting a bunch of attention and then people still saying, yeah, but how are you going to pay for it? Oh, it's a pie-in-the-sky idea. Yeah, he's gaining in popularity is because people like this pie-in-the-sky idea. The thing you got to address is how you pay for it. How you pay for it. Have I said that enough? That's what I believe. Anyway, it's been a very exciting couple of days. I can't wait to see what happens next. Really looking forward to the debate. I appreciate you so much for watching this video. If you watch this all the way to the end, I find this, you're absolutely incredible, absolutely fantastic. If you want, you can go check out my Facebook page, Re-elect Andrew Yang 2024, and I post pertinent videos there. The videos that we talk about in here get posted there, and a couple of other things. And on Twitter, I'm trying to get my Twitter game up. Got some memes there as well. I'm on Instagram, Re-elect Andrew Yang 2024, all of those platforms. So follow me if you're. I want to talk about Andrew Yang and provide a different perspective. So I watch the videos, I look at what everybody's saying, I watch them all, and I try to come up with a different take. I try to talk about things that people might not be talking about. So if you got some hate for me, it's fine, just put a dislike. But if you got some hate for me, don't worry about it. I'm not trying to say that my perspective is the all perspective, that I'm right. I'm just trying to provide a different angle so that if you come up with an answer to what I'm saying, then we'll all be better off. I am on board with the UBI. I am on board with Andrew Yang. I'm not 100% sold that it's not a mistake. But like I said before, I think UBI is a mistake worth making. But I'd rather believe that it's not a mistake. You know? So that's what this channel is about. That's what this show is about. That's what everything that I'm doing for Andrew Yang. It's because I want to provide a different perspective. And I hope that you watch the show, you recognize that I am providing at least slightly different perspective, at least from what I've seen. If somebody else is providing similar perspectives, please share them with me. Let me know, because I want to find these other channels. Really wonderful. Thank you so much. I think that's it for the show. I got nothing else on my list here. I could talk a lot more about Andrew Yang and all that stuff, but you got to save it for other videos. Like, comment, subscribe. Click the bell so that you're notified when I go live. I'll probably will release video clips, but I go live. I like to go live. I like it to be unedited. I like it to be just clean and organic and just pure and organic right here. So if you like live shows, that's what I do. I'll release clips of this thing, of the episode as well, so you can watch that as well. And I'll probably produce some content for you guys to see, but please subscribe to the channel if you like what's going on. I'm going to keep doing it no matter how many people subscribe, but it'd be great if you did subscribe. That's it for me. Does it look like I don't want to leave the camera? Does it look like I don't want to stop the show? It's definitely true, because I just love talking about this subject. I wake up every morning and the first thing I think about is Yang. And when I go to bed at night, the last thing I think about is Wang. No. 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 None of that. No, none of that humor, Peter. A potty mouth. A potty mouth. I'm still trying to come up with jokes for Andrew Yang. Still trying to come up with jokes because I think that's where I can contribute. I don't think anybody else is working on jokes for that guy. So I'm going to try to figure something out. I'm a comedian after all. I got to come up with something. That's it for me. Got to go. How do I end this show? What do I say? I don't have a sign off, do I? I got to figure out a sign off.